So, good day everyone. I'm John Luis Berzosa, and and now I will be discussing the Raynaud syndrome. So, Raynaud syndrome, it is the disorder affecting the blood vessels of the fingers and toe, which become abnormally constricted. It causes decreased blood flow to the fingers and toes, and rarely affecting the blood vessels of nose, ears, and lips and nipples. And there are two types of Raynaud syndrome. So there are primary Raynaud syndrome and secondary Raynaud syndrome. So primary Raynaud syndrome, when the condition occurs by its own and is not associated with any other disease. And secondary Raynaud syndrome, when the condition occurs because of another underlying cause. So the causes are atherosclerosis, connective tissue disorders, carpal tunnel syndrome, smoking, injuries of hand and feet, use of chemotherapeutic drugs. The prevalence, in general, the prevalence of Raynaud's phenomenon or Raynaud's syndrome within the general population has been reported to be approximately 5%. The authors of recent systematic review and meta-analysis estimated that the prevalence and incidence of primary Raynaud's phenomenon was 4.85% or 95% confidence interval, 2.088 to 8.71, and 0.25% or 95% confidence interval, 0.19 to 8 to 0.32 respectively. However, other studies have reported that the prevalence of primary Raynaud's phenomenon may be higher, affecting 2 to 20% of women and 1 to 12% of men. Around half of patients with primary Raynaud's phenomenon have family history of Raynaud's phenomenon, particularly in females and those with early onset Raynaud's phenomenon. As a generalization, primary Raynaud's phenomenon tends to occur before the age of 30, whereas Raynaud's that develops over the age of 40 is more likely to be secondary Raynaud's phenomenon. In general, Raynaud's phenomenon, and particularly primary Raynaud's phenomenon, is more common in women compared with men. The prevalence of Raynaud's phenomenon increases with age in men and is more likely to be due to occupational exposure. Examples are vibratory tools use or peripheral vascular disease from atherosclerosis. And pathophysiology. So there are predisposing factors. The age between 15 and 40 years old, gender, women are most likely affected, and the climate, especially winter. And precipitating factors, smoking, working with vibrating machinery, emotional distress, exposure to cold. Women affected more often than men. So there are three mechanisms contribute to Raynaud's phenomena. There are decreased blood flow, blood vessels constriction, neurogenic responses, and inflammatory and immune responses. Thus, somatosensory system helps with temperature perception based on environmental stimuli. Afferent nerve fibers stimulated by cold temperatures activate A delta, and unmyelinated C fibers. This eventually leads to activation of cold receptors TRPM8, which monitors variations in cold temperatures. Activation of TRPM8 results in cutaneous vasoconstriction, thermogenesis, and avoidance of cold. With cold temperature, the sympathetic nervous system causes the release of vasoconstriction constricting neuropeptides and norepinephrine, leading to vasoconstriction of arterial smooth muscle and decreased blood to the skin. Of note, in secondary Raynaud's phenomena, endothelin 1 is released by endothelial cells, which causes vasoconstriction. In primary Raynaud's phenomenon, an increase in alpha-2 adrenergic sensitivity in the digital and cutaneous vessels result in the vasoconstriction response to cold temperature and emotional stress. Alpha-2 adrenergic receptors are present on the distal arterial smooth muscles of the digits and affected by the sympathetic nervous system. In secondary Raynaud's phenomenon, the underlying disease is the factors that disrupts normal vessels reactivity to cold temperatures. Usually, the endothelial function of the digital and cutaneous vessels is compromised, leading to eventual vasoconstriction with resulting tissue ischemia. And signs and symptoms: the condition beginning with feeling of numbness, sensation of cold, burning pain, paresthesia or loss of sensation, intermittent color changes of fingers, swelling, skin ulcer, gangrene, and pallor. So next is the diagnostic exam. First is history collection and physical examination. So the patient should be assessed for family history or cardiac or vascular disorder, history of hypertension, and etc. So and also in the physical examination, the nurse should check color changes in the extremity and should monitor any signs of loss of sensation. And next is cold stimulation. So in this test, the affected area is briefly exposed to cold, usually in ice water. If the patient is having the Raynaud's disease, it will take more than normal time to become sensed in relation to other parts of the body. And the next is nail fold capillaroscopy. And in this test, the doctor will put a drop of oil in the skin at base of fingernail and then looks at it under a microscope so that the doctor can observe the narrowing of the arteries. And next is blood studies. In the blood studies, usually ESR level will be increased. Next is the medical management. So first is calcium channel blockers. So this medication will help to dilate the blood vessels in hands and feet. So the drugs, example of the drugs are amlodipine and tifidipine. And next is alpha blockers. So this will also help for the vasodilation of the blood vessels. Examples of drugs is the prazosin. And next is vasodilators. It will also help to dilate the blood vessels. And the examples of drugs is nitroglycerin. And last is treatment with antibiotics are necessary if the patient is developing gangrene. And next is the nursing management. So first is instruct the patient to avoid smoking and alcoholism, because smoking can cause decrease in the skin temperature and increase in constriction of blood vessels, so that it should be avoided. Next is advise the patient to take well-balanced diet which is low in fat and oil and lipids. Next is advise the patient to perform regular exercise. So it will, because it will increase the circulation throughout the body and helps for vasodilation. Next is instruct the patient to go for regular medical checkups. It is to monitor the condition of the disease, and assess for extremities for paresthesia and cyanosis. And last is advice to take care of hands and feet. So because if the patient is having the disease, should give care to hands and toes, prevent it from injuries, avoid wearing tight dresses. And last is the prognosis. So for most people, primary Raynaud's can be annoying and cause discomfort, but is rarely dangerous. Although it is typically a lifelong condition, it frequently does not get worse. In cases in which the vasospasm is severe, the affected area may be prone to open sores that are slow to heal. And that would be all, and thank you for listening.